Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the instant match reaction. Everton once again lose a Merseyside derby. There's nothing new about that, is there? 2-0 obviously to Liverpool. Two very, very poor goals. Pretty much what you'd expect from the Everton team before Sean Dyche came in. It was just a very, very embarrassing performance tonight. Nothing good about it at all. Nothing come out of it at all. Just tick that one off. That is done now. We are done with the Merseyside derby for this season, and maybe other seasons. I don't know, based on that performance. No, it was an absolutely dreadful performance. I'm not actually sure what we were trying to do tonight, and this is something we said quite a lot under Frank Lampard. I'm not entirely sure what the tactics were. Obviously, massive surprise with Ellis Sims playing tonight. I can understand the logic of him playing, wanting a more physical target man to play up front. And to be fair to Sims, he did win the majority of the headers he went for. But unfortunately, there was actually no one around when he won those headers. And I think it's more than just winning headers for an Everton centre-forward like that. I think it's about holding on to possession, which this Everton team does absolutely frequently. And we walked into Liverpool's trap tonight. We just kept on giving the ball away again and again, and obviously they scored twice on counter-attacks. And it's where Everton have been awful this season. I think they've conceded the most goals from losing the ball. And listen, this is not on Ellis Sims, by the way. He's a very raw forward who's not ready to lead the line for Everton Football Club. And I think just his physical attributes give him the tip ahead of Mopai. But that solely goes down to Everton's board, Everton's recruitment, which didn't get us a striker, sadly. Against Arsenal, against Arsenal, it's a couple of things. Number one, Dominic Calvert-Lewin gives us a platform to play off. And number two, we were playing the opposite to them. They had a lot of the ball. I think Liverpool tried to give us a lot of the ball tonight because they knew exactly what we'd do, which was give it straight back to them in dangerous areas on the transition. And we have got a terrible, terrible record against teams on scoring goals in the transition, and tonight obviously was no different. We offered very little. We had a couple of moments early on, but very, very little. Sims had an opportunity when they made a mistake. Their defence made a mistake, and I think it was almost like that's what they were trying to do tonight, was get the ball up and hope that their two centre-backs made a mistake, and they made a couple of early ones, but after that there was just not enough threat. And again, we were never brave enough in the final third to put enough men around the ball there was a press early on, but then that press just disappeared. And it was funny because loads of people kept on saying to me, and certainly Liverpool fans were saying to me, "Oh, you'll be much more dominant in midfield." Well, they strolled around midfield tonight. We just kept on giving the ball away. We just fell to bits. And we were like that all over the park. And the irony is the goal came from us hitting the post and then failing to be able to do anything with the ball. Fell to McNeil, who I don't even know what he was trying to do. Just hit a ball into the middle, and next minute they're away. Seamus Coleman should have either took the man out or just legged away from him. Garner kept actual pace with Nunes, but didn't put a tackle in. And Jordan Pickford was left in a situation where it was 3 against 1. Now, what Jordan Pickford was doing for the goal, only Jordan Pickford will know. Whether he somehow didn't see Mo Salah standing right in front of him and thought the ball was going to go past him, or maybe he misinterpreted and thought the ball was bouncing away from him, I don't know. But he left an open goal. He's not to blame for the goal obviously is an entirety. Maybe if he'd been standing in his actual goal, he could have saved it. But you've got the question marks of how a team counter-attacked against us that fast off a corner where we've hit the post, the closest we've gone in the entire game. To getting to the other end of the pitch and doing that in like 10 seconds needs to be asked, where are the athletes? Where are the players getting back? Why are you seeing players sort of sprinting halfway through? Why hasn't Ghana took Nunes and put him in the stand? These players are quite happy to take bookings late on for share pulling or kicking the ball away or getting in the opposition's face when they might have kicked it away. But where's the experience from Ghana and Coleman to just go through them or to understand they're not going to win the ball and back off and get themselves into position? And I find that, as mind-boggling as what Jordan Pickford's done. Obviously, Jordan Pickford looks a lot more clear-cut because he's standing there. But they're mistakes by experienced footballers. And the Ghana ones just don't understand, because it wasn't like Nunes left them for dead. He was shoulder to shoulder. Why don't you just take him out, give away a foul, take the yellow card? Nunes just put the ball in the middle and it's 3 against 1. Why don't you just put him in the stand? I'll never understand that. As I said, they're happy to take the bookings late on. And then the second half, we came out and again we lose the ball. Coleman's got an opportunity. He doesn't take the player out. It gets wide. Connor Cody, I have no idea what Connor Cody's doing. These are experienced players letting us down. These are not kids. This is not me ranting and raving about Ellis Sims being terrible or whatever. This is about experienced players letting us down. Tarkowski was dreadful in the game as well. These are experienced footballers who are letting us down. This is the crux of it. Not kids. Not, someone who's been stuck up front and probably shouldn't have been. It's those experienced players. And to be fair, it's those experienced players for a large part of the season that have been letting us down. The midfield three was non-existent tonight. And again, that's what happens when you haven't got a focal point up front. And I did feel sorry for Ellis Sims. But, this wasn't his game. And I don't quite understand why the manager thought it would be his game. But I understand why he's playing, because of the alternatives he's got. And as I said, that falls solely on the Everton board. Farhad Moshiri, who promised a forward. He promised us a striker and he never got us a striker. And this is where we are now. And, Dominic Calvert-Lewin mightn't be back Saturday. He mightn't be back the Saturday after. He mightn't be back the Saturday after. Who knows when he's going to be back? Because this is Dominic Calvert-Lewin we're talking about here. And the fact that, we need somebody who is like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because what happened is in the game, and you've seen this loads, is we had to start playing it out from the back, and we had to start playing it through midfield, and we are nowhere good enough to play it out from the back, and we are nowhere good enough to play through midfield, especially against a team whose first instinct, like Liverpool is to press and take the ball off you. And that is the real danger now. And I know people will go, oh, it's all right, it's Liverpool, and we weren't expecting nothing out of Arsenal, and we got 3 points. So that's fine. That's not the point. We don't create opportunities. We don't create goal scoring chances. We are going to be relying on set pieces, of course. If the header goes in off the set piece, then that's fine. That's where we're going to be scoring. But they're very, very fine margins. And what you find is that before you know you're at the other end of the pitch. So it's a worrying performance. It's not the end of the world. I appreciate that. It's not the end of the world. It's just that I just can't quite understand what we were trying to do tonight. And it reminded me of last year when Lampard came in and we went away to Newcastle after beating Leeds, and we were on a bit of a high, and then we were dreadful in that game. And it's about finding a consistency. It's about finding 90 minutes. And whether you win, lose or draw, the 90 minutes is similar. And I don't think we can do that if we haven't got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And as I said, that's my worry. That is my worry. It's about who comes in and replaces him. Sims can't do that job because I don't think he's got the experience to get hold of the ball. He did it early on in the game and then it ebbed away. I think there was one where it was a really poor touch and it almost felt like the confidence drained out of him, and also the centre-back started stepping up then and taking up higher positions. And I think our players as well stopped giving it to Sims in central positions as well. And what are the alternatives? Mopai, Gray. These players are not good enough for Everton. They're really not. And Sean Dyche has got he's got a real test on his hands to score goals of football. The problem that was under Frank Lampard is still the same problem. Putting the ball in the back of the net. That is the problem for Everton Football Club. We've scored the fewest goals in the Premier League. That will only lead. And we had Davis at the end, shocking header. Should have put it in the back of the net. That was absolutely. Yeah. So just all in all, just a bad night, and Everton have got to shake this off quickly. They've got to shake this off as quickly as they can ahead of what is a huge game now against Leeds, and they have to find a formula of how they're going to score goals, because it's not just having a centre forward, it's people creating. McNeil tonight, back to the McNeil that we're used to. Iwobi offered nothing. Seamus Coleman, I thought, looked poor tonight. Michalenko, Salah took him to the cleaners many times. And listen, Liverpool came out and played like Liverpool tonight, and they played Fabinho and they played Henderson in midfield, and they completely dominated. And the young kid played really well as well. There was. I think after about 10 minutes, they thought these have got nothing, because we didn't have nothing. And this is the big problem, isn't it? This is the big problem with Everton Football Club, is when you're playing better teams. It's not going to be like that on Saturday, of course. It's not Goodison Park, Leeds United. It's not going to be like that. We'll have our crowd, and it'll be different. And these are not the games you expect to win, by the way. I just expected more from that team tonight, and I expected more challenges. I expected it to be more physical. I expected it to be on the front foot. I expected them to be in Liverpool's face, and they were none of those things. They literally had their bellies tickled for all of the game, and that's what annoys me more than anything. Like I sat here last year after the derby, we've been beaten 2-0, and I seen us have a right go at them. I seen us fight, and I had nothing really bad to say. Tonight, I'm just like, we had absolutely nothing. We never turned up for that game of football. We looked like we bottled it. Really bottled that game of football. And when I mean bottled, I mean like we're going to turn up and we're going to be amazing and we're going to dominate the game. What I mean is, we never even went out there and put any kind of challenges in. And late on, when Andy Robinson's laughing in the faces and then having a little go at him, like, why are you doing that? Because you've done nothing for 80 minutes or 85 minutes. You've done absolutely nothing. You've run around, you haven't put a tackle in. You had opportunities twice to kick their players and put them down, take yellow cards and stop them scoring, and you haven't. And suddenly, one of their players kicked the ball away and you're all hard cases. I hate that faux nonsense, It's pathetic if you're not going to do that all the way through the game. If you're not going to get in people's faces during the game, when the game's actually there to be won, then what's the point? It's pathetic. I just don't get that at all. And tonight, nobody can come off that pitch really and say they've done anything. Maybe a few people say, well, Ellis Sims had a go, but we need players who are going to do more than have a go at this stage. You can make excuses for some players and young players, and fair enough. You can say someone players had no service and nothing, but there's no one who can come off that pitch tonight and say they offered anything at all. Obviously, sometimes you can say that about Jordan Pickford, but he can't say that not tonight, because the first goal from his point of view is an absolute disaster, a goalkeeping disaster. So, yeah, just a listen. They were miles better than us, simple, and they didn't have to be miles better than us, by the way. They just competed from the first minute, and as I said, after about 10 minutes, they were like, these are not even having a go here. We just laid down for them, and then we started doing all stupid, like Tarkowski trying to be a hard man and leaving a couple on people. Liverpool were at the, kept on, again, people kept on telling me they're at the lowest. They're at the lowest, blah, blah, blah. They're at the lowest, and we're going to dominate their midfield. And we didn't lay a glove on them. And that's the fact. It's like, as I said, if we turned up and we'd had a go and we were beaten because they had been the better side, then I'd sit here and I'd go, fair play, lads, because that's all I was expecting tonight. All I was expecting tonight was to see an Everton team have a go after seeing what we'd done against Arsenal. But that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing, And every year there's always a different reason, isn't it? There's always a different reason for that. But this year, straightforward, us just being utterly, utterly shite. And we in our 3 of our next 4 games are huge games against people who are in and around the bottom half of the table, and we've got to take serious points. And nothing will change from that. Maybe tonight the manager's seen the real team, and again, I said this 12 months ago after the Newcastle game, but Dyche is a different kettle of fish than Frank Lampard is. He'll be looking for the answers, I'm sure, and maybe now he might look at it and think, if there's a free transfer out there, some big grok who can hold the ball up, then maybe we go and see if we can get one. I don't know. I don't know if that player exists in Europe, but we're gonna have to do something, because if we do not get a centre forward who can hold the ball up and bring the rest of the team into play, we are in trouble, because we are our own worst enemies. We try and play out from the back and we lose it, and the opposition come at us on the counter attack, and half the time it ends up on the back of the net. So there you have it. A tough night, but certainly nothing I haven't experienced before. Yeah, it is what it is. As I said earlier, it could be the last time for a while that we have to go through that experience. Hopefully not. I'll put up with doing that twice a year, and being, the derby being the worst thing in the world, than not do it. So yeah. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll be back to do my player ratings in a little bit. So join me for that. Thanks for watching. See you later.